Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Game 2 of Summoner's Rift. Spawning on the blue side down, 1 game to 0. Oh, I flipped it wrong. Oh no, I messed up the scoreboard. Down 1 game to 0, it's going to be that Tasted Purple. In the top lane playing Nautilus is Commander 1234. In the jungle, Ephemon Jarvan. In mid lane, Duckster playing Orianna. And in bot lane, Tacit Noctua and Shy Guy 76 will be playing Misfortune and Sona.
And rocking the red health bars, we've got Paradox up in the top lane, playing my favorite, Aatrox. We've got the Harrowing on Sejuani, ANG El Immortal on the Cassiopeia, and we've got Molto and Factorar on the Callista Braum.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
A lot of interest in the chat. This is a more traditional 5-point, finally, for That Tasted Purple. We saw them last game get 3 buffed. The last game they did the 3 buffening. Excuse me. They walked in with the top lane and the jungler and secured the 3 buff. And
as far as runes go, the only interesting or I guess uncommon ones we see, the Jarvan did opt for the Aftershock rather than Electrocute. So not quite as much of the early game strength, but it will give him durability when he goes in. And then the Aatrox is obviously this will be a focus for me, but normally you see a lot of these players, the few that do exist, take lethal tempo, but he's growing for the Grasstrox build, so we'll see how actual beefy he goes, or if he's just choosing to take Grasp and then going to go for damage.
you would think Grasp is going to be a little bit safer in lane than the lethal tempo if he's worried about that at all. Maybe I'm mistaken. I shouldn't talk about Aatrox ever. I've learned my lesson.
Well, the thing with him is having a little bit of attack speed. It feels so good. We're seeing the level 1 trade here in the mid lane, just the E-spam from Cass.
Yeah, El Immortal is going to come out ahead and actually has the nullifying orb as well to help absorb some of the damage. We saw the phase rush proc as well. The damage from Summon Area able to trade it back decently, but definitely a little bit early on in favor of El Immortal.
Although, big thing to keep an eye on right here is going to be that level 2 spike. When the Aatrox gets level 2, is he going to go in for a first blood? That's one of the strongest spikes in the game.
El Immortal's flash is down. Paradox and Commander, though, going to fight the Dark Flight, going to land. He has the passive up, so it's not going to be any worry for him whatsoever as he picks up first blood, and Molto and Factorar showing up on the other side of the map, going to pick up a kill as well. As they walk in, Factorar burns his Ignite to help burn down the Sona, and already that's a rough start for That Tasted Purple. FM and Harrowing going to be trading it out. FM not going to pursue onto that. Paradox is pretty low, and his Nautilus is full health. He does have the minion wave, but I think they might have been able to take that. But yeah, already 2-0 in favor of KC Bad Manners Club. And now we'll have to see these the AoE Wombo comps usually better when ahead. And struggle a little bit if they're failing to get the initiation, so it might be tough as the game goes on for That Tasted Purple to secure that foothold.
Sorry, I had the hiccups.
Oh, okay. Dark Flight again. Paradox goes in on Commander and able to take him down super low once again. The Biscuit plus the Corrupting Potion ticking for Commander, so he should be able to regen back up and at least show his face in lane. He keeps canceling his auto attack that would just hold Paradox in place. Paradox able to continually rough up the health bar. That's I mean, it looks like where a directed camera wants to focus as well. Especially because mid lane has calmed down considerably since that level 1.
I would like to point out that Orianna has counterbots the Cass and has boots.
That's tough. Going against boots when you can't have them. Feels bad.
Feels snake, man.
I hate how some of the poison sounds just linger afterwards. You just get to hear it go on nothing. Anyway, Tacit Noctua and Shy Guy kind of catching Factuar. He's not taking a huge amount of damage here and could back up to the Scuttle Crab. Well, I guess the Scuttle Crab isn't friendly. You can't back up to it. I don't know what I'm talking about. Duckster using a lot of his mana bar to try to farm. I'm noticing that Immortal definitely has the mana advantage and the push advantage here in the mid lane early.
I suppose Miss Fortune did die a little too. I was just noticing the lack of items in her inventory compared to Molto's recurve bow.
Misfortune actually hasn't been back to base. Sono was the one that died, but...
Oh, Sono died? Oh, yeah. Completely wrong.
Yeah, Commander's struggling. This was honestly a worry coming into the game. Paradox is quite a bit higher skill rating than Commander does. We'll have to see if Commander can at least just kind of tank through it and be useful to his team later on.
We do see FM positioning here in the mid lane, but Oriana's still extremely low mana. I don't know if there's enough for a command shield and shockwave.
FM's gonna go for it anyway. Lands the smite onto Immortal. There's the shockwave, gonna force the flash away. Immortal now turning it back on, uses the Petrifying Gaze just for the damage and the slow, and the flash away from FM. So overall, just a trade of flashes between the blue side jungler and the red side mid laner. Bot lane relatively even after that first kill. Only a small CS advantage, and even that should be equalized after this minion wave crashes. So that the big difference right now in the game is unfortunately that top side of the map. Darkflight doesn't get the knock-up. Able to continue to chunk down. Commander just uses the hook to get out.
As a player of one of these top laners, my recommendation to anyone else who find themselves up against an Aatrox, just buy an early Bramble Vest. The Chain Vest is armor and not bad, but a Bramble Vest is like just the absolute worst.
Paradox getting a nice another chunk down onto Commander. Neither one of these junglers, despite being on the Sejuani and the Jarvan, have really opted into a lot of early aggression. It's been kind of interesting to see. But with both of them hitting level 6, we should see some fireworks start to fly now. FM's up in the top lane. Gonna go ahead and get a chunk down onto Paradox. He's gonna use the massacre.
Unstoppable, by the way.
And able to take down FM, and now Commander's in trouble as well. Doesn't have enough mana for anything, and is just going to be slaughtered by the Darkened Blade as Paradox picks up his second and third kills of the game. That's tough. That's really tough. You could see there the relative lack of damage from FM without the electrocute. Plus, Commander just wandering over there without any mana meant that he couldn't follow up on any of the damage from Jarvan anyway. So just wound up being ultra bad rather than only slightly bad. Paradox getting maybe a bit greedy here. Oh,
He still does have his passive, so he'll res up a little bit.
nice Petrifying Gaze going to connect on to Duckster, and Immortal's going to finish that one up with the help of the Harrowing. Pretty close trades in the mid lane, but Immortal grabbing the help of the jungler there to help secure her first kill of the game. And now it's a 5-0 lead for Bad Manners Club. Crescendo onto just Molto. Maybe a little bit antsy there from Shy Guy. You can tell that the whole team is feeling the pressure right now. A little bit of sloppy play from from really everybody on that Tasted Purple right now. Paradox just going to jump in onto Commander and doesn't have the movement speed to get out of here. And the Massacre even going to be popped for Paradox in order to pick up another kill.
4-0 now on the Aatrox, sitting on 2,600 gold. Has not backed since picking up just the 1-0 lead. I might be memeing when I say unstoppable, by the way, but the one time Aatrox actually is a real champion is when he's ahead. I mean, actually, he does have a decent win rate in solo queue right now, but just has too small of a player base to matter.
How do you feel about this chroma, though? That's what I'm really worried about.
That's the challenger chroma, is what a bunch of us call it in the Aatrox meme subreddit. It basically is challenger or master border colors. That's what I've been when I use Mecha recently. That's what I've been using. Although I'm still a Justicar player.
I think I have the stupid Aatrox skin, the Sea Hunter.
The Sea Hunter?
Yeah.
Yeah. The sword animations are nice on that one, but it in itself is just kind of a little weird.
I didn't expect an analysis of all of the Aatrox skins, but but I appreciate that you have one.
When you put in a couple hundred games on him, I hope I can speak a little bit about the champion. I don't know how many games I really have in. Probably a lot more than that.
I don't even think I memeingly have a main. At least with a real skin analysis. Yeah, Camille has one skin, it's ass. Don't play it. There you go. Paradox jumps in again. They have the Rift Herald now, by the way.
He still hasn't based. He's sitting on 3,800.
He's got the quick recall, so he can get back there faster, too. Harrowing's here. Seems a little mean, but I guess he's going to get away. Yeah. Actually might get the return kill versus the flash out of Harrowing. A little bit of a misstep there from the Sejuani. And you can see a little bit of a communication error maybe between Paradox and Harrowing. This is Harrowing's first series with the team, so... Still ironing out the kinks. Yeah, other than top lane, this is a relatively even game.
Here we
Molto
go.
gonna go ahead and...
Never mind.
Oh, that's a nice double crescendo in response, but the Unbreakable going to block the rest of that. Noctua now the... Oh, I guess Noctua and Fracturar both have the ultimates still. One to do damage, one to interrupt. So, interesting trade of ultimates there in the bottom lane. Was that Rift Herald being popped? I think it was, yeah.
That was.
I don't think that was the right time or place necessarily for that Rift Herald, but does get some damage down on the inner turret and at least draw the pressure up to top lane. And now Facturar and Harrowing are going to go ahead and start up the dragon.
Here soon when the cast back, she'll be able to get Rod of Ages, if that's the route she chooses to go. And the Aatrox has finally cashed in, bought a full Blade of the Rune King, boots, cloth armor, and a Tiamat.
Someone helped me with pick and ban. Was Tristana Varus banned out?
Tristana was, yes.
Tristana was banned. Varus has not been touched by, I believe, either AD carry this season. Tacit might have played Varus once, but Molto doesn't play Varus. I don't know about links in the chat.
Don't click it.
I wouldn't click that, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's going to be a questionable one, probably.
So heads up, any mods? Not that I think we have any. Ooh, Molto, that's a nice chunk. We see the Serrated Dirk coming into effect. So where do you want to see... I guess let's start with the easier one. Where do you want to see CKC Bad Manners Club go from here? How do they break open the rest of this game? I'm getting ignored. Rough.
Wait, who's ignoring you?
You are.
I was starting to answer.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
So I believe Tacit Noctua is slowly catching up in CS down the bottom lane. So just having this the straight up just double lane, go against each other isn't really working. Paradox is sitting on teleport. If possible, you get a deeper ward. Let the Aatrox teleport in. He's got the huge lead. He's got a Cutlass or the Bork active to help stick. Let's just let him dark fight, and pop the Massacre, and kind of delete the 2 squishies. I talked about that loading into pregame. He has himself an extremely big lead. Cass is starting to scale up. As I did mention earlier, she actually still needs to base. Sitting on 2,300 right now. But once you crack open that bottom tower, then that opens up mid lane dives. And as far as I don't necessarily want to dive a team with a Sona.
Tacit's caught a little bit here, and nice ultimate from Brahm's going to slow him up. Ignite ticking down, but Misfortune's going to survive this day. Harrowing now on the other side, stunning up Duckster. FM there for the support as Harrowing gets taken out, and the hook from Nautilus able to secure the kill for Commander as they pick up their first kill in return. So a little bit of an overextension there from the Bad Manners Club. FM looking for a little bit more. He has the Jarvan Jacuzzi available. Chooses not to go ahead and use that. Paradox doesn't care. He's going to get CC'd for quite a while, but that's only 1 health bar. He's still got another one. So uses his passive, I guess doesn't even really force anything out. Just makes Nautilus go back home and think about his life for a little bit.
Yeah, he used both sums, teleport to get up there, and then flash to not even secure a kill on a 1-in-3 Nautilus. What I was originally saying was, you take control, you get the bottom lane tower, you open up the mid lane tower, and if you can catch the Ori without a bunch of support from her team, then you can easily dive with an Aatrox passive, which is now on cooldown.
It looks like they're attempting kind of the reverse of what you were saying, where they're just going to use the Aatrox to soak extra members to top lane and then go ahead and get the dive anyway. Gonna go ahead and... Shy Guy... I'm not sure about flashing back in toward the turret. FM's here now to try to turn this around. Gonna go ahead and Jacuzzi too. Duckster right around the wall, hits the shockwave back into the bullet time. And 2 kills... 3 kills, excuse me, after the chase go over to that Tasted Purple. That was a really nice play and follow from that Tasted Purple. Immortal now in the mid lane. They don't have the Jacuzzi available, but Commander's here as well. If they can land some CC, they can maybe chain it. Petrifying Gaze lands, trying to turn that around. Stopwatch is burned. Immortal trying to clean this one up, as now Commander and FM just going to try to beat on her over the wall. Flag and Drag connects onto Immortal. She's still very healthy, as now Aatrox has joined the party as Paradox picks up another kill. She's bought enough time now trying to turn it back onto Commander.
Dark flights up in 2, Crescendo lands though.
Crescendo... Oh, I don't know about poking back in from Commander, but the disengaging Crescendo is enough to at least slow that down. That was a really nice play from El Immortal, picking the moment to go in with that Petrifying Gaze and turn that around. Yeah, really well played there in mid lane. Overall, though, I'm happy to see that Tasted Purple still making proactive moves on the map, going for that aggression in bot lane and able to at least salvage something out of what looked like a really bad situation.
Infernal Drake is spawning here in 35 minutes, or seconds, excuse me, not minutes. And Baron coming up in just over a minute.
In 35 seconds, they're not going to have the Sona ultimate available, but they'll have everything else. So they will be missing one step of their big AoE explosion. But this seems like it's an objective in both of these teams' minds now, as FM and Duckster roaming together on the top side. 4 members have grouped up now for Bad Manners. Well, it's only 3, excuse me, as El Immortal's back in mid lane.
She also did opt for the Abyssal Mask build, which is why I kind of was hesitant on saying like the Rod of Ages earlier. You do have the magic damage from Nautilus, and of course Orianna, and there, I guess, you get a little bit of damage from Sona.
A lot of wards over the back of this Dragon Pit. Definitely a point of emphasis right now for KC Bad Manners Club. Herring's going to walk in. That Dragon is aggroed by some of the AoE damage here from that Tasted Purple.
Paradox seems to have baited Commander to step forward. This might be a kill in the top lane.
Yeah, and then from that kill, they may be able to pick up more. El Immortal picking up a lot of nice damage there on Shy Guy. They're going to try to catch FM. Shockwave on the back end of it catches 2 and is going to slow it up. El Immortal, though, able to get this spit down on FM. Duckster now in trouble. He's out of mana. Doesn't take the Blast Cone anywhere. So there's the double kill now. That was a double kill for El Immortal on the extension. And
Commander actually, obviously, they're very alive still. Ninja Tab by purchase is very good against auto attackers. And as an auto attack player, I don't like you.
ooh, Noctua going for the steal with the bullet time over the wall. Not able to get it, but it was at least a little fearful, it looked like. But secured now for KC Bad Manners Club. Up 11-4. They need to start getting these turrets. It looks like they have priority on both of them. This is how they need to continue snowballing the lead, at least. There's the mid lane turret, taken down by El Immortal, and the bot lane turret, taken down by Molto and Facturar.
Let's see here. As far as gold, we've got the Cassiopeia sitting on 2,600 whenever she does base, and the Aatrox is sitting on 2,800. So huge items, or huge jump in power here pretty soon.
Shoutouts again to Facturar, almost doubling, well, actually is doubling up his opponent in Vision score so far. FM's in the top lane. They're going to try to make a play here with 3 people. Is that enough to actually secure it? Darkflight got interrupted there.
Yep, it is interruptible in the first half of the Dark Flights.
Duckster's
gonna finalize that.
Duckster's gonna execute him with the Shockwave as he picks up his 3rd kill of the game. So they're able to snuff out that split push threat for now, and maybe turn a little bit of damage back on that top tower. That's going to be the big emphasis now for that Tasted Purple. If they're able to start breaking some of these towers, they've got a chance to get back into the game. If they're not able to get these lanes shoving and get any of the towers down, they're going to be permanently shoved in and just have a rough time.
I believe if Smite hadn't been used on the Aatrox there, I would have actually looked for a Baron bait. Even without God Vision, we saw Molto on the Callisto was still down in the bottom lane. And they just spotted Braum clearing a ward also down the bottom side. Misfortune and Sona choosing the base. That would have at least eliminated one threat, because Aatrox, once he cashes in, could probably just solo the thing. This just is how the champion works. Or they could easily do it with a Mountain Drake and Cassiopeia without even needing to bring their jungler to help.
Well, now we have a little bit of a pause. I guess we're seeing some big items start to be completed now. The Duskblade, almost to the Yumu, is now completed for Misfortune compared to the Blade of the Ruined King Runins. Big power spikes for both AD carries. Both big mid-game power spiking AD carries compared to the later game focus that we saw last game. Leandry's plus a needlessly large now for El Immortal. Probably feeling pretty good on that Cass.
Being 3-0-1 right now with 50 CS lead, it's a very good position to be in right now.
And especially after we saw her have a rougher time in game number 1, it's really good to see that reversal in game number 2. More pings in the dragon area. There's no dragon available. This is just shoving that Tasted Purple out of the red side of their jungle. Nautilus is walking down here. He's got teleport available, but they're going to leave Paradox on his own for the time being. And this means that we need to see a play, an initiation now from the side with the blue health bars. And instead, they don't pull the trigger on anything and just give up a tower for free. This is a pretty rough position, honestly. They're getting choked off the map, and Paradox has really good knowledge of how and when to split push, it seems like. He showed that in both games. Duckster flashes over, lands the shockwave only on Harrowing. FM's over the wall. Kenny, he lands onto Molto. This is... Oh, that was not the chain CC that they were looking for. Molto's going to get knocked up. They may be able still to pick up 1 for burning all of their ultimates. But now Alamortal's here looking to turn, flashes in with a Petrifying Gaze, lands the damage onto 3 but only stuns 1, picks up the kill onto Misfortune. Now still fighting it out in the front. Factory Arch taking really low commanders, and FM are able to pick that up. Alamortal's still just dishing out the damage here, able to turn that back onto Nautilus. Meanwhile, Paradox is just taking the base. Harrowing and FM now going to scrap it. This is basically just delaying the back, if nothing else. Finally, Oriana is able to recall, but Paradox takes down the inhibitor for his trouble. And they came out even in the 4v5. That was a 2 for 2, correct?
Yes.
So the 2 for 2 in the disadvantaged fight, plus getting the inhibitor.
You got the next. Yeah, you got the inhib turret, the inhib, and you got the teleport out of commander. So now what you do is you reset, you swap the Aatrox down bottom, and you force Baron. You've got the Callista, you've got a Cassiopeia, you've got a huge objective control for the neutral objective. Huge chunk actor coming out right from the Misfortune.
Yeah, Tacit Nectar is not going to be ignored in this game. He is doing a pretty nice chunk of damage from this Misfortune. That's something we also haven't seen a whole lot of from Molto, using those the spirits from the W to get a little bit of deep jungle vision, or at least I haven't noticed it so far. Commander and Paradox, this is not an even fight by any means.
Actually, all 5 members are in the area.
Yeah, from now, Crescendo over the wall is going to be the first bit of the chain onto Paradox. Shy Guy is really nervous about poking in here at all. Ultimate from Nautilus is going to pop that passive. They should be able to secure this. That's actually a really good hook. They lose their red buff in the process, and all of the vision that they had in the dragon area. Look at the red side of the jungle. Look at how many words there are.
I mean, I think we see where the priority is. Mountain Drake number 2 going over now to Bad Manners Club.
Yeah, I am interested in why they haven't swapped Paradox to a different lane, really in all this series. He's had such a push advantage. He needs to kind of get out of his lane every once in a while. Do that swapperino.
Outside of Morella Namicon, we see a total of 0 healing debuff items. Once again, Aatrox is sitting on a Blade of the Rune King and a Bloodthirster, and he's running Grasp. Interesting decisions here, because you got the Callista, who's going to naturally build a bunch of lifesteal for her build. Cassiopeia's got decent sustain through her QE.
The 3-man squad groups up, sieges down the inner tower. It's the 6th tower of the game going over, and Aatrox does finally swap to the bottom side. And here's the call we were making. He used the teleport to get down there, though, so he doesn't have the teleport to get back. I don't know if that Tasted Purple has that knowledge or not. But again, there's not a That Tasted Purple ward anywhere nearby. There's a lot of vision. So pretty much a free Baron followed up by a free inner tower. There's a point at which you turtle, and there's a point at which it's too much, and you have to pick a fight. And I think that's definitely coming up for the blue side here.
Yeah, if you're going to look to fight as That Tasted Purple, you got to help shove out that top lane. So no matter what happens, you got the minions a little bit further away from your base. So no matter what happens, the consequence might not be as harsh.
And they really need a catch onto the Cassiopeia. El Immortal is just doing a ridiculous amount of damage. But there have been crazier teamfights that have been won by an AoE Wombo composition, so I'm almost not willing to say that there's a lead big enough in this game for KC Bad Manners Club unless they play correctly to get out of it. If they all group up at any point and get hit by 5 ultimates, they're just dead. It doesn't matter what stage of the game they're in or how far ahead they are. So there's this constant threat. That being said, they are very ahead. They're 13,000 gold ahead. They've got dragons. They've got a Baron buff currently. They're going to go over the wall, force a flash out of Shy Guy.
Red buff actually handed over to the Aatrox.
Ultimate, they have a catch on Molto. The dunk is actually going to pick it up. Factory are trying to disengage a little bit with the Braum ultimate. Tacit Noctua melting a little bit through the tanks with the bullet time. So they pick up one. I don't know about the Nautilus ultimate, but the rest of it looked pretty good. They're spreading out their AoE. They're not using it all in one burst, which is good against a team with a Braum on it. Ooh, flash forward from Immortal, catches Dexter with the damage, but not the stun. Going to go ahead and pick up the kill, and now the base is pretty much wide open. Meanwhile, Shy Guy did fall at the back of that fight as well. Middle turret going down. Paradox is just diving through the Nexus turrets onto Commander. Factory Heart jumps in just to try to help him out. And now Tacit Noctua and FM are left trying to defend the base. 2 inhibitors down, minions coming in with the Baron buff. Oh, only 1 inhibitor down currently. Top one did respawn there. And, yeah, I don't know. Again, maybe it's the killer instinct in me, but I think they're backing off maybe a touch early there. Immortal peeled out way ahead of time. They could have had 4 versus 2. And almost regardless of your health bars, you win as the 4.
I guess that's why we're the speedrunners.
I guess so. But playing it safe. Can't fault them for that. 16-9 now in favor in kills. They've shoved it up to a 15,000 gold lead. It's a little bit yikes.
Not sure what exactly their plan is. Dragon is spawning in a minute 30, but it's an Ocean Drake at 30. It'll be 32, 33 minutes.
Not the most important break. It does help them stack toward that that Infernal. Maybe they're just looking for the burn later on. And now sending Paradox to top lane seems like an interesting strategy. There's the pings we needed to see. Pings on the bottom turret. It's the only one left alive. You don't need to go to a pushed lane again.
The interesting thing here, I think, is, like, while they did back off, it took them... Like, I know that they're taking jungle camps, but the Cassiopeia took her sweet time basing to cash in. And the Aatrox actually didn't base. He's still sitting on 2,500 again. And rather than grouping with his team, he's farming Raptors.
So the 4-man squad, well, almost the 4-man squad. Molto's getting close. But the 4-man squad here for KC Bad Manners Club is rotated finally to the bottom lane. 10 seconds on Dragon. I imagine they're poking in and then going to go take Dragon. Yeah, Nocturne. Aatrox is just farming jungle camps. They ping him down onto top lane. The ultimate from Nautilus is used to try to initiate 3-man shockwave into the 3-man bullet time. Really nice petrifying gaze, though, from El Immortal, able to stun up the back end of that fight. And the damage just overwhelming from the front end as Commander's going to fall as well. That team fight happened in a flash, but El Immortal's petrifying gaze able to lock him up and turn the disadvantaged team fight. Paradox is going to teleport into the base just for the last hurrah. What did you see there, Wing Nation?
That's what you call a gold lead. It was a very good start to a fight, and then the petrifying gaze was able to lock it up. But had the gold lead not been almost 20,000, then you would have seen some at least blinking health bars or some dead carries for Bad Manners Club.
So that'll be the 2-0 victory for KC Bad Manners Club. Yeah, that last team fight was pretty explosive. Let's take a look at the damage charts. That's about what I expected. Yeah, MVP of this game. Do you have an opinion, Mr. Nation?
I'm gonna have to give this one to El Immortal. Was able to kite out a couple of hairy situations on the Cassiopeia. Phase Rush does help with that and is a little bit easier to proc on Cass out of all champions. as much as I am biased towards liking Aatrox, I got to give Ellie at least this game MVP. As for the series, probably would have to give it to Paradox though, being a extremely big threat in the side lane in both games.
I completely agree. Elemental, especially that last team fight, the petrifying gaze through traffic, able to stop the MF and Sona ults from the back, was huge and able to at least change that from what looked like not necessarily a lost fight, but at least a bad fight or a disadvantaged fight into a complete steamroll. Shout outs again to Factuar. He had 104 vision score to the 42 for the enemy support. He's definitely doing the heavy lifting in terms of the vision, and there were several moments in that game where you could not see a word within like 2 or 3 screens of where they were setting up for a neutral objective. So big shout outs to Factuar in the vision control of KC Bad Manners Club.
Absolutely, it's always hard to like give a MVP to a support because a lot of their like effect is intangible, or you're not going to see it really reflected in the kill score unless they really pop off. Division, and then I suppose 13 out of 20 isn't that bad.
13 out of 20 plus the Braum pick was the perfect last pick against this composition. I don't know that there's no other support that you could have picked that would have done the same thing that Braum did in that composition. So I think Factuar had a pretty monster series as well, but yeah, that's gonna do it for us tonight. My name's Meristematic. You can follow me at MeristematicSC is my Twitch channel. I like doing casting there. I like playing games. Follow my friend here. His name's Wing Nation as well. We appreciate it.
Same thing on Twitter, except that it's an underscore in between Winged and Nation because Wing Nation was already taken, surprisingly.
Yeah, apparently Meristematic is taken by an inactive account from 5 years ago, and I'm not still angry about that, so I'm MeristematicSC on Twitter as well. We love you all for tuning in. Thanks so much. I believe the next scheduled game is tomorrow night. I don't know if there's a cast of it, but check the Discord, check Twitter. People tell you when it is. Thanks so much. Hope you all have a fantastic night.
Yeah, I'm